Hey, today I'm gonna share with you guys 8 things that I wish somebody would have told me as an entrepreneur when I was in my 20s. All right, before we get too deep into this, if you're in your 20s, whatever stage you're at right now is exactly where you need to be, so don't stress out. Jeff Bezos, in his 20s, he was flipping hamburgers way before he's ever flipping businesses. And Mark Cuban was getting fired in his 20s for listening to his instincts as opposed to listening to his boss. So wherever you are in your life right now, don't worry, you've got time. But here's some things that are gonna help. Number 1, a degree is not a prerequisite for success. Now, I do have to admit, I did get a degree, but my degree literally has not helped me at all in my journey so far. I got a degree because at the time I was wrestling. I wanted to continue to wrestle in college. I could only do it by going to school. When I graduated, I got my degree and I set it down, and then I went to work on my online business. And literally, it didn't help me very much at all.
What degree were you getting?
So,
know your degree?
I do. My degree was in computer information systems because I thought I was gonna be a programmer. Day 2 of my first class, I understood nothing the teacher was talking about and I was lost, which is why I'm so grateful that I ended up finding Todd, who's a genius who can build software and I can just sell it. I also got a C in my marketing class, which is really embarrassing, especially considering I've written 3 books on marketing. One of them was a New York Times bestseller. Take that, Miss Elliott. Boom, roasted. One of the experiences that kind of made me realize this in college, I remember I was at my college graduation, my senior year. We got the caps, the gowns, and everything. We go jam into the gym, and I'm sitting there looking around a whole sea of people who are like my graduating class. We're all sitting there, there's people standing up front talking, talking about graduation and stuff, and they're about to call my name to come on stage to get my actual degree. I remember sitting there realizing I didn't learn anything that was useful to help me to actually make money. It wasn't a single thing. I didn't learn how to do my own taxes. I didn't learn how to do, none of the things I would have thought I needed to be success, did I learn at school. I remember sitting there confused, looking around, and everybody looked so happy. And I was like, all these guys have to go in the workforce tomorrow, and they're gonna find out the real world is not gonna be that nice to them. And I was so grateful at that time. I had been trying to start my own business during college. I had something happening, so I knew the next day I was gonna be working on my business, but for all of them, I felt really, really bad. That's one of the biggest realizations I had, is the degree, the piece of paper, isn't gonna help you get a job in most places. In fact, we don't hire people here based on degrees, we hire them based on their actual skill sets, which are completely different. For certain things, obviously, if you're gonna be a doctor or a dentist, if you're gonna be cutting people open, you've gotta have a degree. I would only let somebody operate on me who has a degree. So there are definitely things where you need a degree, but if you're an entrepreneur, you're not gonna like school. I promise you that. You're gonna struggle because entrepreneurship is about breaking the rules, not about following a systematic process. And so if you're an entrepreneur, that's why you're probably watching this video. You're gonna have more success creating a vision, trying to figure out things, finding a team, building something, and really having fun with that. That's where you're gonna find your success and your happiness. There's actually 3 reasons why I do encourage you to go to college initially. Number 1, it's where you're probably gonna find your significant other or your spouse. Number 2, you wanna stay there until you're making more money than your teacher. That's when you have my permission to actually drop out and quit. And number 3, don't drop out until you figure out what you're gonna be actually dropping into. And when you have those things, then you're able to go and start your future. Number 2, you never wanna underestimate the importance of setting goals. Now, when I started my online business at the very beginning, I remember the goal I set was I wanted to make $1 million. I think that's most people's goal, but it seems so big, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to hit that. And so I did the math. I took $1 million, I divided it by 365, and the number is $2,739.73 a day. And so if I can make $2,739.73 a day every single day for a year, that's $1 million. I was really excited, except for the fact that at the time I was making $0 a day. I was like, okay, well, there's what I need to get to, and I started trying to figure out ways that I can make money every single day online. At first, nothing happened. A little while later, I started getting to the point where I was making $10 a day, and then $50 a day, and then $100, and then $500, and $1,000. I remember getting closer and closer until that day when I passed the magic number, and I was on track to make over $1 million in a year. And to this day, that number, $2,739.73, is still my favorite number because it is the thing that gave me the goal, what I need to do to be able to make $1 million in my online business. All right, number 3 is you are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's true in any area of your life. As an athlete, if you're hanging out with people who are worse than you, you're gonna become like them. If you're hanging out with people who are better than you, you're gonna become like them. When you're starting your business and your entrepreneurial journeys, the people you spend the most time with, you're gonna think like them, which means if you wanna start making more money, you've gotta find people who are already doing that. Your mindset will rise up to be like their mindset. So you're gonna be the equivalent of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That means choose your friends wisely, choose your mentors, choose the people you're spending time with. If you're not careful, you're gonna drop down to their level as opposed to rising up to the level of the people you wanna be around. This was very true for me when I started my business. Most of my friends, all my friends were completely broke. And so I was trying to be around them, and I'm talking about these numbers, my goals. They all like, oh, that sounds nice, good luck with that. And I remember it being hard. And then later I found, And I had to go to seminars. That's where I found people. I started going to these seminars and marketing events and things. And I started getting around people who'd already made $1 million. Some people making $5 million, $10 million. And when I told them my goal of like, yeah, I'm gonna make $2,739.73 a day, they're like, oh, that's cute. I was like, what do you mean? Like, that's like really, really easy. And I was like, are you serious? And all of a sudden, like, my mind went from like, my friends were like, this is impossible. There's no way you're gonna do it. To all of a sudden, like, that seems really easy. Like, why don't you set a harder goal? And I was like, oh my gosh. And so like, it just opens your mind. You expand your mind differently. You start looking at opportunities differently. I started looking like, what do they do? How do they do it? How do they think about opportunities? How do they create products? How do they drive traffic? All the things they had already figured out. I was able to look at that and model it. And very, very quickly, my income started to rise to theirs because they believed it. And as soon as they believed it, and I believed it. And belief is the key that really drives everything. That's why it's so important to be very careful about who you associate with, because you're gonna become the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Number 4, you gotta build your dream 100. Now, this is a concept I've been talking about for over a decade. I talk about in Traffic Secrets. This is where you're looking at who are the people in your industry or the business you wanna get in who've already figured out what you're trying to do, right? We talked about your 5 closest friends. This is now expanding it to the top 100 people. Who are the 100 influencers, product owners, bloggers, podcasters, the people who already have the eyeballs of the customers that you wanna have someday. So what I do is I go and I actually create a physical list. Okay, here's all the podcasts that my dream customers someday are listening to, and I write down all the names of the podcast hosts. Who are the bloggers that are blogging that my audience is already reading their blogs? Who are the people that have Instagram followings and Facebooks? And I make a list of 100 people, and after I have that, this is my future network. These are the people I need to get to know, I need to build relationships with, because if I have those relationships, it makes it very, very easy now to get access to their customers. In fact, I created a whole video series on YouTube showing how I dream 100 a whole bunch of people, including Tony Robbins, and how I was able in a 10-year period of time to go from a fanboy to a friend to a business partner. And so make sure you check out that video on the channel as well. Number 5, seek out a mentor. Now, if you look at any story, any movie of all time, the hero always goes on this journey. He always finds a guide, a mentor, somebody to take them and show them the path. Luke Skywalker had Yoda, Frodo had Gandalf, and you need a guide as well. Now, a guide or a mentor is someone who's already been here, who's already gotten the result you've wanted. They've gotten it and they're coming back and they've got a map, like a process, a framework to show you exactly how to have success. And so for me, in any area of my life, when I wanted to lose weight, when I wanted to get in shape, when I wanted to build a business, when I wanted to grow my business, I always look for who's the mentor, who's the person who's already gone there. They've done it, they come back, and I can ask them the questions and follow a step-by-step roadmap. It makes your success so much more simple and so much more likely to happen, as opposed to just kind of hoping and wandering in the woods, hoping to have success someday. One tip on an easy way to find a really good mentor is look for somebody who's gone on this journey before, they've come back and they actually wrote a book about it. The nice thing about that is the book can serve as the map and the guide to help you have success. Number 2 is a book you can read really quickly. You can read in a couple hours and see if you resonate well with the person. Sometimes you're gonna find someone who may have done it, but you don't really like their personality, you don't gel with them, and you can put it away and find another book until you find someone you like and then go deep with that person. Read their book, buy their course, sign up for the coaching programs, and get mentored by them so you can get the success that you're looking for. The first business mentor I had in my 20s was a guy named Mark Joyner, and Mark had just sold his internet business for a few $1 million. He was doing what I was dreaming about doing. He'd written a couple books. I bought his books and was fascinated by everything he was saying. Eventually, I started messaging him. This is before we had Facebook. I was messaging him through email and through Messenger, a whole bunch of places, and I finally got a hold of him. I was lucky enough to get him on the phone 2 or 3 times where I could tell him where I was at, where I was trying to get to, and he would say, well, if this was me, this is what I would do. And he will literally walk me through step by step exactly what I need to do to be successful. And to this day, I'm grateful for him and his guidance. This helped me to get to where I am today. All right, number 6. Now this one's more of a mindset one, but it's taking more responsibility for your own life. So many people want to cast blame on somebody else. Oh, my boss did this, or my friend did this. For you to be successful in life, you have to take extreme ownership of every single decision you make. If you fail, it's your fault. If you're not happy right now, it's your fault. If you're not getting the things you want in life, it's actually your fault. I know it's hard to hear. So many times we want to blame it on somebody else, but as soon as you're able to take personal responsibility, then you can actually change it. You can't change it if it's somebody else's fault, but if you take personal responsibility, you can shift your mindset, you can make changes, you can get a coach, you can get a mentor, you can do a bunch of things and actually make something better out of it. That's why it's so important to understand that. In fact, according to one of my biggest mentors in my life, in fact, refer back to tip number 5 for more information about mentors, Tony Robbins has said over and over again, that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. If you understand that in every single thing that's happening, good or bad, positive or negative, these things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. If you look at it through that lens, now you can say, how is this gonna help me grow? How am I gonna become a better person because of this thing? Even if it seems horrible, if it seems hard, or if it seems like it was somebody else's fault. Take personal responsibility and then you can change, and that's how you progress and how you grow. I wish somebody would have told me that in my 20s, because I think I've been pretty good overall trying to take personal responsibility, but man, there's so many times where something wouldn't happen, I wanted to blame one of my staff members, or one of my employees, or I'd blame one of my friends or my parents or whatever it might be. And I realized looking back now, me blaming those people just kept me in the rut. It didn't help me or change anything. It wasn't until I stepped back and said, look, I gotta change something. I put it on my own shoulders. I was able to make a shift and change the direction and actually have the success I wanted. Me as a now 40-year-old coming back to 20-year-old Russell, this is one of the biggest and most important things I would tell him, is to make sure you always take personal responsibility for everything in your life. Number 7, read expert secrets. No, I'm just kidding, but you totally should read that. But it's literally read, like you gotta be reading. Okay? There are people that have taken a decade of their life. They've done trial and error and problems and figured out everything. They came back, they spent a year writing a book, giving it to you, and you can take this book, you can take a decade of their life, and you can read it in a day. Why would you not do that? Okay, Tony Robbins once told me that if you take a book, you can compress decades into days, and that's what it is. And so read a book, because if you do that, you're learning from other people's experiences, which is a much better way to learn than going through every one of these trials and these problems and these things on your own. When I was in my teens, I hated reading. It wasn't until I turned 20 that I started reading for the very first time. After I found a couple of books I liked, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I kept reading more and more and more. And by reading, you get better at learning, you get faster, your mind gets sharper. And so that way, when you're older like me, man, think how many lessons, how many things you would have learned and you can be able to use, as opposed to if you start reading when you're in your 30s or 40s, man, you missed the boat. Reading often trains your brain to absorb more information, and it expands your brain and expands your mind so you can control and hold more inside your head as well. All right, and then the last one, number 8, is be humble. And this is important because I've seen so many people who start having success when they're young. I had success when I was young. And the first thing that will happen to you is you'll think it's all about you. Your head will get big and you're like, man, I am amazing. Like, look how cool I am. It happened to me. So I know it's gonna happen to you as well. So the biggest thing I found is that the first time my business grew and it collapsed and it crashed, I realized it wasn't all about me. It was about my team. It was about other people who were around me, about ideas I got from God. It was from all these different things. And when you think it's all you, your head gets big, your ego gets big, and the crash is hard. If I can give you any warning, any recommendation, it's to be very careful about this, especially as you're going your very first time. It's very easy to be proud of what you're doing, and you should be, but let it grow your ego, because if it does that, it's gonna be hard for you and the people around you, and it's not all about you. You'll find that out soon enough. And so that's it. Those are my 8 tips for people who are in their 20s, which hopefully if you're watching this, you're probably in your 20s right now. I'm coming to you from 40-year-old Russell to come back and share these ideas with you. And if I can say one last thing is, I want you to understand that this journey of entrepreneurship, it's fun. It's really hard though. There's ups, there's gonna be downs, but the key is if you really believe in what you're doing, if you believe that you are changing people's lives through your businesses, that's how you last for a long time. I've been doing this for so long. I've seen so many people who have started businesses and then they've disappeared. I haven't seen them since. And I've seen a few people who've gone now for 2 decades or more. And the difference is the people who love and they serve their customers at the highest level, those ones are still around. People who are here to try to make a quick buck, try to make money, are the ones who they aren't anymore. And so make sure you focus on who is the customer you want to serve, how can I help them? And then from there, your ideas of being an entrepreneur are gonna grow. You're gonna think of ideas of products and services, and it might be software you're gonna create, or maybe you write a book, or maybe you're gonna create supplements. Like all the ideas will come when you focus on who is your dream customer and how can you change their life. Focus on that here in your 20s. By the time you're my age, you'll have an empire and you'll be able to change a lot of people's lives around the world. All right, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you got any value, please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, I love if you tell me in the comments down below which one of these 8 tips was the most valuable for you right now at this time in your life. Let me know, and then maybe we'll go deeper on one of those topics. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys on the next video.